let's talk about a super sexy topic, data centers and water. The Rolling Stone came out with an awesome article this week. It talks about the data center boom that's happening here in Oregon, but also touches on a really long-standing issue that we've had here in the state on water quality and water contamination. Oregonians and folks on the West Coast may or may not be familiar with Morrow County's ongoing water issues. So classically, Morrow County has been a pretty inhospitable place to grow a lot of things. Morrow County has largely been an inhospitable place to grow things, but they've leveraged basically a shit ton of chemicals to just power right through that. They then created a huge irrigation network to allow bigger companies to come in. Big companies like Lamb Weston that are responsible for a large part of the potatoes that McDonald's uses for its French fries. All of this industry and its dependence on chemical fertilizers created a horrible environment. All of those chemicals and all those fertilizers have to go somewhere, right? And it went to the lower Umatilla Basin. Since the early 90s, Oregon's DEQ has been registering huge levels of nitrates. By 2015, the levels of nitrates were more than 10 times the allowed limit. And folks know that the companies and the Port of Morrow and everybody in that region have been aware of the water contamination problems for years. If folks want to look up, there are pictures online of the waters around the Port of Morrow. There's like a mist coming off of them. It's just weird and creepy. And no surprise, it's causing huge health effects for people in the area. In the past couple years, Oregon Rural Action, an amazing activist group, has been advocating for the people in the area that have been getting just insane rates of cancer. Women have been miscarrying. Livestock have been dropping dead. The Port of Morrow has been fined millions of dollars by Oregon DEQ as recently as September. They've known that this has been a problem. The state of Oregon has known that this has been a problem, and there really just hasn't been a lot of action on it. In January, Governor Kotek issued an emergency order allowing the Port of Morrow to violate their water pollution permits. The county government out there has been working to address this problem, but it's a hugely expensive problem. They've received very little in the way of support. They've received around $880,000 from the state of Oregon for testing and water filtration kits. The residents of Morrow County and Oregon Rural Action have been working together to fight for more recognition and more help from the state. We were again protecting corporate interests at the cost of the people that lived there. Then another opportunity popped up: data centers. There were teams of lobbyists that were lobbying the state of Oregon to create tax incentive packages for Amazon to make it more profitable for Amazon to come and build more data centers in our backyards. In 2015, the state legislature passed a bill to allow that Amazon to be exempted from state property tax assessments. That then allowed them to build at least 11 new data centers. And property taxes fund things like the services in your community, like water, sewer, the schools, and we let them off the hook for that. And this turned into a win-win situation for Amazon and then the Port of Morrow that was sitting on just shit tons of nitrate poisoned water. So Amazon used the nitrate poisoned water to cool its data centers, but unfortunately when it did that, it was heating up the water and there was water evaporating from that nitrate poisoned water, making it more concentrated. And I will say now, to the state of Oregon's credit, Attorney General Dan Rayfield has gone after a number of people involved in this for essentially using public trust for personal gain. It wasn't, however, for the water contamination. But what essentially is going on now is that we continue to allow these industry in Morrow County and elsewhere to contaminate our wells and contaminate our ground, use chemical fertilizers that we know are horrible and cause cancer, and then the state of Oregon comes in and lets them off the hook because they're accepting so much and they can't stop accepting all of this wastewater from the industry. Stop letting the industry use this shit. And so now the Port of Morrow is waiting more than $400 million to create more wastewater tanks instead of investing any money in the communities to help the people that have been literally poisoned. And this is where the data centers come in. We are now allowing even more data centers to be built. And here in Oregon, we have the largest reported data center in the nation at 4.6 million square feet. And it's been estimated that these data centers consume from 11 to 11.4% of our electricity in the state. They are exacerbating our existing water problems, whether they existed before they arrived or not. We are allowing them to make more money off of the backs of our state, and it is exacerbating the pollution and the poisoning of the people in Morrow County. I am done with allowing tax breaks to business at the cost of my neighbors. I am fed up with it being more profitable to poison people than to do the right thing. And I am fucking tired of our government making it easier and more cost-effective to poison people. We should not be continuing a shit situation just because it's harder to do the right thing. The people of Morrow County deserve justice. And the rest of the people in Oregon are affected by this. These data centers don't provide jobs. They're not paying into the communities the way that they should. And they are fucking everybody's health in the process. I don't want any more fucking tax breaks for companies that are actively killing us. I don't want any more tax breaks for killing the environment. And I especially don't want more tax breaks while we're increasing the taxes on the working class. Just so we're clear here. Anyways, I strongly encourage folks to read the rest of the article because it contains some really infuriating details, a pullback of the curtain to see how things really happen here on the state level, and how it's one of the ways that we do not practice the democratic values that we espouse. The Democrats that are in charge have been less than active, let's say, to address the environmental concerns that they claim they're so concerned about when they campaign. They are not standing up for the marginalized people in Morrow County that are low income. They're not standing up for the marginalized people in Morrow County. They're not standing up for the people that have been poisoned by this, but they are stepping out of the way of big business to make a profit off the backs of Oregon taxpayers.